I get a lot of questions about what pedals do I use live, so I wanted to go over that with everybody. Just so you know, live with Kiss, I think I mentioned it earlier, but just to go over it again, I couldn't have pedals on the stage. There was way too much mayhem going on. So my roadie would crank things up, and some of the guitars had a push-pull pot right on my volume, next to my volume, the tone control actually, that would be like a kind of wah-wah tone. And that was the best I can do with that. Occasionally there'd be an effect plugged in by the roadie, or I would have a outboard gear that went through one end of my equipment that would give the sound. But of course, if you've seen me in the past like 8 years, 9 years, whatever, mostly I've been using very analog style pedals, which these are very similar to pedals I used actually on the Revenge record when the guitar tones really took off to a new height, I thought, of wildness, you know. One very common thing a lot of players will use is an overdrive. I love this Boss SD1. Here's your regular tone with the pedal. It's going to really help with the sustain. Here's the same note without it. With it, it's really going to stretch it out. And then because of the chain that I have it in, the order that I have it in, you add in the wah-wah, and it's really very expressive. And that's totally that Revenge tone. Add a little chorus to it. Well, let's use chorus more in a normal way, which is just usually you're not using the distortion with it, but just gives it rounded out. And I usually use my delay pedal. This chorus happens to be an Ibanez. I've borrowed many other kinds of pedals. My brother once had a Washburn that I loved that I wound up sticking in one of my pedal boards. This one's a nice sounding one actually, and there's a nice setting on it where if you want to get that kind of fast tone, just kind of like. In Union I used that on a couple of tunes where I wanted that fast sound. I'm kind of like a Leslie tone. And yet on the delay, this is one of my favorite pedals, which is a Boss DM2 delay, because it's got just a nice warm tone to it. So there you can tell there's a nice, just rounds out the sound. Same thing without it. You add the chorus and the delay, and especially the cleaner the tone. And then when I want to get really crazy, everything's in. Like the end of Jungle Live, I'm just going wild with So that's the secret of my pedal. It's not too much secret, very simple. This is a foot switch which will help me tune, so you don't have to hear my lovely sounds, and it goes straight to the tuner. And you know, I'm just a big fan of the analog pedals and never liked the big rack displays that some of the people got into. And I probably have about 100 pedals at home when I add up everything, with all the different choruses, delays, wah-wah pedals, and distortion things. But it's a lot of fun to play with. I can't say they're great investments because they don't go up that much in value, but they're a lot of fun. So enjoy your pedals and whatever works for you. This is a simple, basic version of what I use, sometimes even in the studio, but certainly lately live. And it gives you all those tones that you want, okay? So have fun with it.